Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is me, Mysterious Cameraman, and today I am talking about the Flash Season 3, Episode 1 fan series, of course. What's this episode called? I thought I knew this thing. I should have been more prepared going into this one. Flash fan series, Season 3, Episode 1, The Vigilante. Honestly, I thought it was Double Vision, but, well, we're getting there. I will say, I had a lot of skepticism going into this season. I even made, like Season 2, a video talking about my skepticism. Unlike the 4-minute one, I think that last one was like 10 minutes. I remember saying a lot about the side characters. Are they going to focus too much on the side characters and not that much on the villains? And after coming out of this first episode, I have thoughts. I have thoughts indeed, and that's why I'm making a video on it. I was making a video on it anyway. You guys know this by now. This is like my 20th video on Crimson Productions. Like, this isn't new knowledge. No one's shocked that I'm making this video. But, yeah, let's talk about Season 3, Episode 1. I will say, off the bat, this is my favorite episode they've ever done. I'm not even counting Constantine in their episodes, but this is still better than Constantine. I thought this episode was very good. As much as I like this episode, and as much as I think this is the best episode they've done, I don't think that this is the best episode they've done necessarily for plot. I think that compared to some of the stuff in Season 2 that they did with Savitar, I thought that was... I don't remember which episode I liked the best. I think it was Episode 4, I think I really enjoyed. Maybe it was Episode 5. I don't fully remember which one I really enjoyed, but there was one episode that I fell in love with immediately. And that was the episode that I felt like was the peak of what they're going to do. And I feel like this beats it in a lot of aspects, but I don't think it beats it in plot. Because overall, I feel like this plot in this episode is a little messy. First, I believe they opened the episode we're going to kind of go through everything. They open the episode in the 2020 plot. And I'm going to just talk about all that now. I'm going to go kind of plot line to plot line, talk about some things throughout. The 2020 plot was interesting. Even before we get to the 2020 plot, let's just talk about characters in general, because the whole thing was side characters and stuff. I will say that they had some very interesting things from the side characters, but as much as I enjoy the fact that we didn't have any scenes that were so incredibly long, or scenes that were, like, these felt like by far the highest quality episode they've ever done. And by the end of it, I was like, oh wow, that's it? Because I was hooked throughout the whole thing. I felt like everything in it was interesting. There weren't any scenes that I felt were dragging, especially in Season 2 when I felt there were probably 2 scenes in each episode that felt like they were dragging the episode down. There were none in here. And I will say, though, with the side characters, I do not think Barry was the star performance in this episode. In my opinion, Oliver Queen was the star performance in this episode. And sure, you can say that's because this is his first episode. I don't know if he's a better actor. That's the thing. I'm not saying that he's better than Liam. I'm not saying that. I haven't seen enough yet. But I am saying that in this episode specifically, the way the script was built, Oliver Queen was the star of this episode, not the Flash. And that was something I said at the beginning. I'm scared that Oliver Queen's going to take over the show. And I think it makes sense for this episode. I will say, I actually think it worked for this episode, that Barry was kind of a little bit off to the side, especially with how much we've gotten Barry slammed in our face in the last 2 seasons. Getting an episode where we kind of get to see him not be monologuing every second, I actually felt like worked. If the whole season is an Oliver Queen fan fest, I'm not going to like it that much. But I think it works for the first episode to really get to know Oliver. And I don't think Barry was also an afterthought either. I feel like he was actually... I feel like he was close to Oliver. He was in almost every scene. And I still loved his performance. I just feel like Oliver kind of outshone him specifically in this episode. As for the 2020 plot, now to actually get to this. Overall, I think the time traveling thing was... I hope it pays out in the end. But for me, at least, I don't know if I missed something, but I was a little confused at that point. I could have missed something. I'm not going to say like they did something wrong. I could have missed something. But for me, I didn't know how Savitar got there. And I understood how the Flash got there. I understood the Shadowlands reference. But I had no clue how Savitar got there. I didn't really understand much of that. And I don't know why Savitar in this episode also kind of became unevil. Like, he didn't feel that evil to old Barry, but that's also because it's him. So, like, I don't really know. Maybe I missed something. I just thought that was a little confusing, especially in the season opener. But they also did it last season, and I enjoyed it then. But there was also another point I wanted to make about the time traveling. Oh, yes. The villains. I actually really enjoyed Golden Cobra in this. Is that their name? Yeah, Golden Cobra. I also liked Savitar a lot more than Reverse Flash in their seasons. But from what they're showing us right now, Reverse Flash does actually feel like an afterthought. Savitar has his whole plot going back in time, and I do like Savitar's getting the spotlight, don't get me wrong. I love Savitar. If you watched my videos back in the spring when the Flash was finishing up, like the real show, the CW, and it was the second to last episode, and Savitar came on screen for literally half a second, you will know that I spoke about in the review that I literally started screaming. I, like, jumped up and down. Like, I am a very big Savitar fan. But as much as I love Savitar, Reverse Flash is also very important, and I feel like we just haven't gotten... Like, I feel like they were like, Savitar, and then, like, oh, yeah, there's Reverse Flash, but he doesn't really matter. And even when they show him in the vibration form. They don't show the suit. So it, like, confuses me a little. Why are you not... Reverse Flash should be on the same level as Savitar. For me, personally, I'd rather see more Savitar. But from a critical perspective, Reverse Flash should be on the same level, if not on a higher level than Savitar. But for some reason, Reverse Flash is kind of, like, mentioned once and that's it, and Savitar is a whole plot line. So I'm just curious to see where that goes. Maybe there's more to Reverse Flash later season. Maybe I heard maybe something happens in episode 3 and that's when it really begins. I don't really know. But that was something I wanted to point out. Let's move on to the Ralph Savitar plot. Another Savitar plot. And I'll say it, I thought that was good. I actually did enjoy that a lot. I will say that something I noticed throughout the episode is the editing. I actually really liked the lightning editing throughout this episode. I thought it was very good. But what I thought was a little odd was the way some of the scenes were cut. I felt like, especially in the Bruce Ralph scene pretty early on, I felt like it was like line. Like, they didn't even, like... I understand the way that they're shooting it, that's probably how they did it. But even if they gave them, like, a second or two to, like, breathe. But I was like, I did this. No, I did this. No, I did this. Like, it felt very... It didn't feel natural during that scene. And there was another point later in the episode, which I'll talk about when I get to that, but yeah. I will say I do enjoy the Ralph plot, though. That actually makes perfect sense to me. I didn't love the fact that we were taking away from Oliver and Barry, but I actually really enjoyed this plot. I actually think this is a pretty awesome idea for the show, and I can't wait to see where it goes next. But actually, I'll talk about my point after the Barry and Oliver plot. But, of course, then there's the Barry and Oliver plot. This was incredible. I will say, I loved seeing Barry and Oliver working together on screen. They're just so good bouncing off each other. I just think they work so well together on screen. So that's why I just really enjoyed this episode. This episode was just really good. And I really liked them working together. I did like the Golden Cobra fight. Yeah, overall, I just thought this episode was just very good. I really liked Oliver and Barry working together in the Golden Cobra thing, and I just thought that was very good. But what I will say, well, my other point, there were too many plots in my opinion. This is, I think, the longest episode they've ever done, which they think works. But they have the Barry Oliver plot, the Ralph Savitar plot, and the old Barry Savitar plot. That's 3 plots. So I feel like those 3, like, in the old seasons, there would be, like, 1 plot. Or, like, 2 plots. Now there's 3 in 1 episode, and this is the starting episode. There might even be 4 if you consider Bruce Wayne the plot. And I'm not going to talk about him in this video, because he doesn't really do much, so I'm not going to say much right now. But it's a lot of plots. It works for this episode. Again, I think this episode's good. But if the entire season is split up into 4 or 5 plots in this episode time, it's not going to work. Because there needs to be times when you are putting Barry at the front and center. And I hope they do that as time goes on. I don't know how it's going to work, but yeah. And that's really... I thought the fight scene in this were also good. I really liked the opening scene. I thought that was just a very good opening scene. I really enjoyed that. I also enjoyed Barry and Oliver bouncing off each other in this episode. I will say the Golden Cobra fight was a little lackluster, though. I feel like the punches felt slow motion, and definitely wasn't shot in slow motion. But let's talk about Stargirl. I actually enjoyed this post-credit scene quite a bit. This was the other point where I felt like the editing was a little weird. I felt like, I don't remember if they were saying the same lines. I'm not disagreeing with that. But I felt like the audio was, I don't remember if it was a little bit ahead or a little bit behind the Stargirl talking. But it sounded odd when you were watching it, and it didn't sync right. But that's just something that happens. I know that's not easy. But I actually really think it's interesting that they're also introducing Stargirl. But again, they're doing a lot. And I'm not saying it's bad yet. But I don't know how they're going to manage all this at the end of the season. How are they going to get Reverse Flash, Savitar, Stargirl plot, Arrow plot, Dibney plot, and 2020 plot all resolved by the end of these 6 episodes. I don't know how they're doing that. Hopefully they have some plan, and I think Stargirl might end in episode 3, but I don't really know. Overall, though, I'm really excited for this. I thought this episode was still incredible. Of course, I still have skepticism. Of course, this is the pilot episode of the season. I have no clue how the rest of the season is going to go. But as you know, I don't always love first episodes. I always feel like the first episodes are like, they always make me a little wary of what's going to come next. But once you get past the first episode, I'm normally on board. By like episode 3, I'm normally like full on in Flash mode or Gotham mode or DC Legends or Arrow, whatever the hell. But yeah, overall, I thought this episode was just really good. And I just thought this was very good. And besides that, I think that's all I have to say. I thought all the performances 6 points. How can I forget the 6 points? Directing, very good. This is the best cinematography they've ever done. Editing, I'm not going to talk anymore about editing. Got it, I'm tired. Can't keep ranting about the same things over and over again, but I'm very good at doing it. Acting, best performances whole season, show, whatever. Of course, the best of the season is the first episode and only episode of the season. But Barry, incredible. Oliver, incredible. Oh, God. Ralph, incredible. Savitar, I guess, is incredible, but it's the same actor. 2020 Barry, same thing. Constantine's also in this. I'm not even going to go into that Constantine post-credits. I'm not even going to attempt to decipher that. Bruce, I really liked Bruce Wayne in this. And Stargirl, I don't normally like Stargirl in these shows. I actually thought she wasn't bad in this. And yeah, besides that, that's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. See you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.